Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, students.
वालेकुम सलाम।
Okay, before we begin, if any from student side, जो last time हम object oriented programming की examples कर रहे थे, if there is any question, we can primarily first take that question and then proceed towards today's session. आप लोगों का कोई question है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. ओके अगर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है तो आप ऑलवेज यू कैन राइट इन योर मैसेज जो चैट बॉक्स है एंड सिमिलरली यू कैन आस्क योर क्वेश्चन. दिस इज़ एन इंटरेक्टिव सेशन और इसमें आज के दिन में हमें बेसिक ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रिंसिपल्स जो हैं उनको स्टडी करना है एंड आल्सो वी सी दीज बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स विच आर कॉल्ड इनकैप्सुलेशन inheritance. So first of all, because we are working with the language, so we must know the syntax of that programming language as well. So in this slide, as you can see, I need actually the annotations. There I have the annotations. So as you can see, the print is a keyword and it is also an object class in Python programming language. And whenever we have to text, we write it in quotation marks. Both single quotes and double quotes are acceptable. This is a very simple line which just call a print function with this argument. और जब हम इसको एग्जीक्यूट करने जाएंगे वो इट विल बी डिस्प्लेड दैट हेलो वर्ल्ड. This is the one line primarily program in Python, and similarly we can define our functions. The definition of a function start with the keyword def, which is a short for definition or define, and then there is a function name. Function may take some input parameters or may not take any input parameters. And this type of function does not take any input parameters. And the same line we write here, print hello world. And then we call that function like this. And after calling this function, it will display the hello world. Now let's have a demonstration. And in this demonstration, we are using primarily a built-in Python installation at my computer. So this is called Anaconda distribution, and I just click on it. It will actually start for a while. This is very easy to set up if you can primarily have a computer and you want to install it, then you can easily install it. This environment is primarily Anaconda Navigator, and I have created multiple environments. We are just because base environment is installed by default. I just go to the Jupyter notebook, which is nothing but an environment to write the Python program. So I go to the folder where I have written few programs. So in Python, I have written few programs here, but I can always go to a new Python 3 program. The purpose at this point in time is not to primarily familiarize you with this graphical user interface. इस वक्त हम इस graphical user interface या इसकी installation को नहीं सीख रहे हैं. We are just focusing on the program. So first program I have written today for you guys is a very simple program, and this is a one line of that program is print assalamu alaikum. So whenever I just run that program, it will always print primarily assalamu alaikum. Okay. Okay, if we I can take one of your primarily name. Let's say Walid is with us, so I write assalamu alaikum, and Walid. Okay. When I execute this or run this line, it will write assalamu alaikum Walid. Okay, so it write assalamu alaikum Walid. Okay, this is fine. Similarly, we can go to the online debug and we can type this as well. It will function same it is. Okay, in the next part is we define a my function. I can write it my function one as well, for example. My function one. Okay, so it is print assalamu alaikum, and let me write a different name here who is on the list. So Aliza Suhail Ahmad. So I write here Aliza Suhail. I'm just picking a random name, so kindly do not take it as a so so this function, when it is called, it will print assalamu alaikum Aliza Suhail. So I run it. Now the Python knows that there is a function which is name is my function one. Now remember it is name is my function one. Okay. So when I call my function one, it should print assalamu alaikum Aliza Suhail. So I run it and it printed the same thing, Aliza Suhail Ahmad. So that guy who's the first primarily the slide comes out that it is very easy to write the simple programs in the language which is we have chosen for our learning the object oriented programming. Always remember the object oriented programming is not a programming, it is a concept which is behind. Are you just imagine an approach to write a computer program by any language which supports the object oriented programming. ऐसी लैंग्वेजेस जो ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग को सपोर्ट करती हैं उनको इस कंसेप्ट के थ्रू प्रोग्राम्स जो हैं वो लिखे जा सकते हैं. We are not currently talking object oriented programming. We are currently talking about the 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 programming language concept, language, the syntax of the language. Okay, others so coming and joining now. Okay, I request CR to inform other students to join as well. So after this program, we go to next slide. And in this slide, the same program जब हमने अभी देखा था, अगर आप देखें तो first line is a comment line. So whenever you write in Python language and you put a pound sign or a hash sign, जिसको हम कहते हैं. So this hash sign actually make this line a comment. तो इंटरप्रेटर जो है इसका जो पाइथन लैंग्वेज का इंटरप्रेटर it recognize it as a comment and will not primarily compile it and execute it. Then on the line number 2, it prints Assalamu alaikum. When we execute it, when we run this, then it will print this line, Assalamu alaikum. Anything which in the double quotation. Then we have a definition of a function. So definition, a keyword, and the name of the function. कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं, रिजर्व कीवर्ड ना हो, ठीक है। जो नॉर्मल सी लैंग्वेज की कन्वेंशंस हैं वो यहाँ पे भी फॉलो होंगे। प्रिंट अस्सलाम वालेकुम, when this function will be called, then it will print the assalamu alaikum. That's it from this program. Now we move ahead. Okay, the first concept in the first principal concept in object oriented is the encapsulation. जैसे कैप्सूल होता है, what capsule contains? Capsule contains a medicine, and we cannot see that medicine, so it is inside the capsule. So the same idea applies here, that the data inside the object or inside the class, it is accessed through a public interface जो कि object का method कहलाता है. For example, the age function. The age function जैसे हमने लास्ट जो पढ़ा था, अगर हम क्विकली इस स्लाइड को करने से पहले उसको देख लें ज़रा. So I quickly go to our earlier slides in week 2, and I just click on here. Okay, this was the program which we actually gone through in our last session. As you can see in this slide, it has a import module, import data module, and then a class definition. The name of the class is a person. The new students should revise this, and students which already attended our last session and also gone through the recording should be familiar with this. So because these concepts are the abstract concepts, so we need to understand them. Okay, किस तरीके से जब हम इनको कोड करेंगे तो ये हमें आसानी से अंडरस्टैंड हो जाएगा. Then we have the default, primarily inside the class, it has a special format, and similarly we have age. That is where I want to take you, that this is the function we will talk in our today's section. Okay, so this function has a name. Its function name is age. Whenever this function is called, it will display the age of the data from data, and that data is inside the class. So because the data is inside the class, so it has to be accessed through what is called a public interface. This is the data, and this is the interface. Public interface. Public interface means it can be accessed outside of the class, and we can also call it, it is a method, simple method. And in procedural uh, computer programming language, it is also called simple function. Okay, so in object oriented there are some definitions which represent the same thing. Method is a function. Similarly, public interface is primarily a method or a function. Okay, going back. Okay, from here, now we have a pretty much idea that this is primarily a function which is, or a member function, or a public interface which is defined inside a class. So any data which is inside the class is primarily encapsulated data. We cannot access this age directly, but what need, let me hide these controls for a while. So what we need is the access is through a method. And what is the method? Method is person here. And what is person? Person is an instance of the class. So I'm sure कि आप इस चीज़ को जो है वो समझ गए होंगे. Let me repeat it. The encapsulation is a concept which is an idea that any data inside should not be available to programs, but if we want to access that data through some interface or through some function. That's it. इसी चीज की हम प्रैक्टिस करेंगे नेक्स्ट एक्सरसाइजेस में. व्हाट इज रिटन हियर इज नॉट primarily useful at this point in time. The coding is not important. The concept is important, and the concept says that the data inside the object, when it is accessed, it should be accessed through some public interface, like the age function, in which we have a data, and that data is accessed through this function. Remember, जब हम फंक्शन लिखते हैं तो उसके आगे ब्रैकेट्स लगाते हैं. Okay, so that's why it is a public interface or a method. Okay. Okay, now moving ahead. Relationship between objects. This is the second topic of today's session. Okay, in Python there are two main type of relations between classes. One is called composition and another is called inheritance. Our aim is to understand the inheritance. Okay, so inheritance कैसे होगी और कैसे होगी ये नीचे बताया जा रहा है. Okay, animal is a class and horse is a primarily animal. ठीक है, is a or is an circle is a shape, is a shape. Student is a person. So inheritance is implemented in a way that we make a person class. This is the base class. And this is the derived class. Derived means जो कि उस person class से हमने बनाई है. Okay, there can be many others, like teacher is also a person, so I write here teacher. And then I just drag an arrow here. This is, so teacher is another derived class from the base class person. So this constitutes an inheritance. So what is the consequence of inheritance? Inheritance consequence is if the person has an attribute name, then similarly student has an attribute which is called name. Similarly, teacher can have an attribute called name. So I do not need to define name here and here. I only defined here name, and that variable can be used at the student level and at the teacher level. So what I do, I defined general information in person class, and then I create the instances and then create the typical or specific information or attributes about that class, that in which class student is, and who is the teacher of that subject. So these kind of things can be the extension into the derived class, which are not present in the base class. ठीक है, इस तरीके से हम कर सकते हैं। थोड़े से एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कंसेप्ट है, जब तक हम इनको एग्जाम्पल से नहीं समझेंगे, इनको करके नहीं देखेंगे, तो इनको थोड़ा सा समझने में दुश्वारी है। सो आई हैव टेकन वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम्पल, लेकिन थोड़ी देर के लिए हम यहाँ रुकना चाहेंगे। मैं चाहूँगा कि अगर स्टूडेंट के जहन में कोई सवाल है तो वो इस वक्त आप मुझसे ज़रूर पूछ लें। जी, एनी क्वेश्चन एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम? जी, समझ में आ रहा है? इब्रार से मैं पूछना चाहूँगा। जी इब्रार। जी इब्रार। ओके, खालिद, खालिद कुछ बताना चाहेंगे? इब्रार का इंटरनेट लिंक थोड़ा स्लो होता है। जी खालिद।
जी सर, समझ आ रही।
आ रही है समझ? ओके, एक दो स्टूडेंट से और मैं पूछना चाहूँगा। निम्रा, आप बता सकते हैं, आपको बेटा समझ में आ रहा है?
जी सर।
थैंक यू बेटा। ओके, एक स्टूडेंट से और पूछना चाहूँगा। ओके, शाजर आप बताइए। आपकी आवाज़ हमें नहीं आई है, अगर आप दोबारा बताइए कि आपकी समझ में आ रहा है। जी शाजर शाह, आप बता सकते हैं बेटा, आपको समझ में आ रहा है?
सर
जी, आपकी आवाज़ आ रही थी, दोबारा बोलें।
उसके बाद मुझे कट कट के आ रही है। मैंने अपने नेट का कनेक्शन चेक कर लिया, सब सही है।
वेरी गुड। ये रिकॉर्डिंग भी अवेलेबल होगी, आप इस रिकॉर्डिंग से भी चीज़ें जो है वो सीख सकते हैं।
ओके सर, वैसे तो सब समझ में आ रहा है, लेकिन जहाँ जहाँ प्रॉब्लम होती है।
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच। अब आप म्यूट कर सकते हैं। ओके, मूविंग अहेड, in which today's our section is with this example. Okay, we have taken this example from the link above, और इस लिंक से हमने ये एक एग्जांपल ली है और इस एग्जांपल को हमने, अब हम इस एग्जांपल को सीखेंगे। सबसे पहले देखें, इसमें दिस एग्जांपल कंटेन्स टू क्लासेस, वन इज कॉल्ड द पॉलीगन क्लास, किसी भी शेप को हम पॉलीगन कहते हैं, and another class is called triangle class. So inside the class हम थोड़ी सी प्रोग्रामिंग भी आज सीखेंगे। तो inside the class we have three, one default and two more functions, and similarly we have a default function and another function inside the class. Sorry, excuse me. So we take it one by one. This is the complete program. जब हम इसको complete कर चुके होंगे, then we will be able to better understand this. जब हम इस प्रोग्राम को रन करेंगे, तो जैसे ये नीचे लाइनें लिखी हुई हैं, जब ये लाइनें जो है ये चलेगी, तो ये हमसे पूछेगा कि जो ट्राइंगल है उसकी पहली साइड की लेंथ एंटर कीजिए, दूसरी साइड, तीसरी साइड की लेंथ एंटर कीजिए, और उसके बाद वो उसको डिस्प्ले भी करेगा, और उसके बाद उसका एरिया कैलकुलेट करेगा। फार्मूला जो है वो इसमें कोड किया हुआ। अब यहाँ से हमारा काम स्टार्ट होता है। ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल we have a class because there is a keyword class, and this is the name of the class name, polygon. This is the name. Usually we write the class name with a some alphabets which are capital, so polygon. So this is a class. So its the default class is self. We know that it has to be there. It is the type setting of the or the syntax. So the default parameter take one input, number of sides. Okay, polygon can have two sides, three sides, four sides and many sides. Okay, ट्राइंगल भी कहते हैं उसको. उसके बाद आगे फिर वो रेक्टेंगल बन जाती है और उसके बाद पेंटागन बन जाती है, फिर वो हेक्सागन बन जाती है और इस तरीके से पॉलीगन जो है उसकी डिफरेंट साइड्स होती है. सो इट टेक्स वन पैरामीटर. सो वी कॉल इट ए पैरामीटर PAR parameter. Okay, then it assigns number of sides to n. So this is an assignment. Now wherever we write self.n, it means it is number of sides. Okay. Before we go to this line, we primarily understand what is this program. So a is equal to 10. So we take a constant value, a variable a, constant value 10. For loop b, this is an index. This is an index. So b in range of a, yani that means it will start and go to the value of a. Range mean that there is some starting point and start, start, and there is some end, end or stop. So there is some range which is associated with it. Print b. When we execute this program, it will print from 0. So that means the b has initial value 0 because we are printing b. Then it, after the second time, it will take value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Total 10 values. Total 10 values. The next program is also the same, but instead of b, we printed b plus 1. B plus 1 means it will add 1 to the index value. So instead of starting from 0, it will start with 1. So this is how it will go 1 to 10. Okay, यहाँ एक छोटा सा black box होगा तो आपको 10 नजर नहीं आ रहा, but it is again 10 values, but these 10 values are primarily from starting from 1. Okay, so this is the primarily the loop, how we take a loop. Why we primarily understand this program? Because it is being used in the next line, and in the next line it declares a internal variable which is a self.slides sides. Sorry, it is not slides but it is sides, number of sides. नंबर ऑफ साइड्स तो ऊपर आ गया है. अब उन साइड्स जो है उनके लिए हम एक प्लेस होल्डर बना रहे हैं जहां हम वैल्यूज सेव करेंगे. सो 0 फॉर, ये इसको थोड़ी देर के लिए इग्नोर कर दें, 0 को थोड़ी देर के लिए इग्नोर कर दें. फॉर आई इन रेंज नंबर ऑफ स्लाइड्स, इस पे फोकस करें. इफ देयर आर 3 स्लाइड्स एंड फॉर आई इन रेंज 3, यहाँ पे रेंज 10 था, तो जब यहाँ पे हम रेंज 3 लिखेंगे तो इसको प्रिंट करवाएं तो ये लिखेगा 0 1 2. ठीक है, 0 1 2. सो ये जो साइन है ये शो करता है इट इज एन अरे दैट मीन मैट्रिक्स. सो व्हाट इट डू, इट विल जनरेट एन अरे ऑफ 3 numbers and initialize with 0. So 0 0 and 0. ये क्यों कर रहा है ये हम आगे देखेंगे. तो ये एक लाइन जो है ये उन साइड्स की इंफॉर्मेशन जो है उसको सेव कर रहे हैं. 0 0 0 इनिशियल वैल्यू है, उसके बाद आगे हम देखेंगे कि वो क्या कर. देन द नेक्स्ट फंक्शन इज द इनपुट. the input side. So that means it asks for the user to write side number one, length side number one, side number two, side number three. Okay, I'm not going into the detail of this line. I'm not going into the details of this line right now, but after few slides. Okay, then it displays. Okay, it displays. Okay, this is the class. Let's assume this class is given to you and you are to run this class. What happens? जब आप इसको रन करते हैं तो क्या होगा? अब हम दोबारा से इसको एक दफा रिपीट करना चाहेंगे. Okay, so I started with the instance my polygon, and I write it is a polygon because it has to have one input parameter. So I write here 3 for a triangle, because I know triangle has 3 sides. Okay, triangle has 3 sides, so it will generate the an instance of a polygon whose name is my polygon. And when I want to access the inside functions, then I write my polygon dot input sides. ये वाला. When I call it, it will ask me that the enter side 1, enter side 2, enter side 3, and I just write 3, 4, 5, and then it displays. It displays by using this display side function inside. So what it do? It just displays. Now I go to just for the demonstration of this program, जो कि मैंने किताब से सॉरी उस रिसोर्स से क्रिएट किया है. Okay, I go to here, and then I need to open the next program which I have created today, and as you can see it is the same class and it is the same program. So I run the first line, it is a comment, has no effect. Then I go to run the next. So I run it, and now I am here. I run this line as well. Okay, so first line, what it does, it creates the polygon instance. Then the second line is it asks for the input of the side length. Okay, I just type here 3 for example to match the same program, 4 for example, and 5 for example. Just enter it. Okay, after entering it will execute the third line, and third line is to display the values which are entered. So this is how this program primarily executes on my computer at this point in time. Now moving back to the original program जहाँ हम खड़े थे और जहाँ हम start किया था. Now I take you to the journey of the code as well. So this is line we all understand. Okay, fine. This line we understand. Okay, fine. This line we understand. Okay, fine. This line we've gone through, that it will generate an empty array to hold our input values. जो values हम input करेंगे उसको हम यहाँ पे save कर लेंगे. This is the definition line. Now this line we need to understand this line, and this is very important. So what is it? Based on our previous knowledge, it is primarily creating an array. It is creating an array. And what it is doing, it is having a data type float, and it is having an input function. And inside the input function, what it does, it primarily asks enter side, और ये इसको डिस्प्ले करेगा, ये डिस्प्लेज here. Then on first it primarily displays I plus 1. I क्या है? I is index. Okay, I is the index. So first time it will be 0. So 1 is added, so that it will become 1. It will start from 1. Okay, it will start from 1. Start from 1. And then for I in range n, number of sides. We know number of sides is equal to n. So this is the number of sides. If I entered here 3, जैसे 3 मैंने enter किया था यहाँ पे, 3 like this one, this 3, okay. So it will generate 0, 1 and 2. And because I have added 1 here, so it will generate 1, 2 and 3. So that 1, 2 and 3 come here. 1, 2, length of the side 2, 3, length of the side 3. And these are the user input, user values. So when this function executes, what it does, it primarily populates our previous array with the user values. And what are those values? 3, 4, and 5. Then finally, the display. Display is very easy. For I in the range of number of slides, just print side. This is side number 1, is the side number 1, then side number 2, then side number 3. That's it. This is how this primarily the program functions, and it executes in that way. I know that some of the students may find programming a little bit harder, but you should be motivated, and you should be primarily making change in this program. Just copy paste it and make the change in the program. That by that way you will be learning it in a very fast manner or fast pace. Okay, let me take you to the program and we will do some experiments here. Okay, so what are those experiments, and what those experiments we can make here? For example, I have written here a statement, a print statement I have added. Whenever I call this function, it will primarily displays the number of sides, and it will write this the value, which is the a parameter, and then it will primarily display the upper array, जो उसने अभी upper array बनाई. I just add another field here. I need to execute this one so that Python will understand this. Then I make here that my triangle is equal to polygon with 3 sides. Okay, what it does, ये जो लाइन है ये क्या करेगी? ये लाइन एक वेरिएबल के अंदर एक इंस्टेंस जो है वो बनाएगी, और ये जो माई ट्राइंगल 1 है ये एक क्लास का इंस्टेंस होगा विद द पैरामीटर 3. ओके, जब मैं इसको एग्जीक्यूट करने जाऊंगा इस लाइन को, इट विल प्राइमरली कॉल दिस क्लास, और इस क्लास के अंदर यहाँ क्या लिखा हुआ है? प्रिंट नंबर ऑफ साइड्स एंड आल्सो प्रिंट द साइड्स. और हमने क्या कहा था कि यहाँ क्या प्रिंट होना चाहिए? नंबर ऑफ साइड्स जो है वो 3 है, 3 प्रिंट होना चाहिए, और साथ इसके प्रिंट होना चाहिए